Variety Pack, food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of North Variety Pack. If you have not watched the show before, we're a mixed bag. We talk about everything, but mostly food and drink. Today, we're talking comedy, country music, and a whole lot more. I think it's time to bring on my two co-hosts, Mairlyn Smith, and a very special co-host, Ryan Massel.
Yes!
Special?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think it's nice to have him on the show. He's stepping in for DP. And actually, Ryan, I always mix this up. Is your last name pronounced Massel or Massel? I always have this fight with people.
It's always Massel, and my mom is like the biggest advocate that it's Massel.
Okay.
People have called me Massel, and she goes off the rails. So let's not have any unhinged mothers tonight.
That's fair.
And mine's Smythe. Yeah, I just wanted to correct you after all these years.
Yeah. In mine, I guess you can't really mess up Clapson, although sometimes people call me Clapton, which is neither here nor there. Anyway, so last night I was eating a gigantic shawarma meal, as I quite often do. And one thing that I like about shawarma meals is that they have pickled turnips on the platter. So pickled turnips, I think they're so delicious. They're really salty. They're also cured in beet juice, so they're bright pink. And when I was eating them, I just kind of realized, this is a really unique pickle that not enough people eat. Do you two have a pickled item? I mean, we know I love pickles, so do you two have a pickle that you think is really underrated? Mairlyn?
Okay, well, I like the pickled green beans it's a Canadian product, and I put them in my Caesars.
Yes.
So I think it's highly underrated, as is. I don't know, do you think the Caesar is highly underrated? But I certainly think sticking green beans in them isn't.
Caesar, no. Green bean edition, yes. To underrated. Ryan?
What do you think, Ryan?
Well, okay, so I think that the undefeated pickle champion is definitely Fuddruckers pickles. Now,
yes.
If you've never been to Fuddruckers, I know Dan and I were big fans, but there's something so salty about them. They're like a bread and butter cut, but then they're like a classic dill, but even better taste.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think those are definitely my all-star pickles. I just want to say something about those pickled turnips, actually, because they're also my favorite, that I recently went to a shawarma place and I had a shawarma and I asked for extra pickled turnips because I love them. And they had the nerve to try to tell me that they were going to charge me another $1 for pickled turnips. I will never go back to that pickled turnip. I am so mad still. Done.
Well, there you go.
Unless you push me for the name, then I will tell you the name.
No.
No, we're not going to blast any small businesses on here.
No,
unless
exactly.
they also do Mairlyn and I wrong with the pickled turnips, then we'll revisit.
Yeah, please, if you see me, please just give me not $1 extra pickled turnips next time.
Right. Okay, so I'm a gardener. I grow green beans. I don't grow turnips. But this year I sort of I'm doing a new garden, and it's the very first time I've created a garden where the garden's telling me what it wants to be, as opposed to me kind of putting my stamp on it, which is kind of a really cool Irish white witch kind of thing that's going on in my backyard. Are you guys gardeners at all? Does the land speak to you?
Ryan, you go first, because I feel like I know the answer for you.
Yeah, the land is speaking to me, honey, and it's saying, I am going to overgrow you with weeds, and you better call some professional help. So yes, the land is very much speaking to me right now. I just moved into a new house, and the people that lived here were expert gardeners and took 8 years to grow a lot of their garden. And at this point in time, I have no idea what it is, what to do with it. So I've actually turned to a gardening group on Facebook, and I take photos and I say, please help me, because this is just going to be dead in 8 minutes. So TikTok, times are running.
I do enjoy gardening, but I'm not a good gardener. So last year was the first time where I really lived in a house where we had a backyard where we could plant some things in the backyard. And I bought a whole bunch of seeds, and I thought I would, sprout them and then plant them. I did not do seed distribution very well, and I wound up with a lot of things that either didn't grow properly or grew differently. And I don't know, Mairlyn, you might remember, but last year I was talking about radish pods, and radish pods are these sort of green, pods, I guess that's how you explain it. It sort of looks kind of like a small pea, but they grew out of my radish seeds, and I didn't know what was happening, but it turns out I planted the radishes all wrong, so they had no other option other than to grow pods and not the actual radish itself. So by screwing up radishes, I grew radish pods. So I think in some ways I'm accidentally creative gardener.
Well, I've never heard of anyone ever doing that. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're Darwin.
Yeah, congratulations. I have some
Yes.
work for you. I was thinking this year when I'm gardening, I'm definitely going to need cocktails. And y'all know that I'm just a basic white gal that loves her rosé, her frosé, but I feel like that's out. Is it out? Or is there a new drink this year? Like, what am I going to be drinking when I'm gardening?
I feel like frosé is sort of a very 2019 beverage. That's when it was at its peak, I think, in Canada. But I don't know. I think, Ryan, yourself and I were inundated with seltzers these days. There's so many canned cocktails on the market. So that is, I think, overarching, that is the drink. It does seem that people in general want to drink cocktails that have a lower sugar content in them. So Mairlyn, I don't know if you can speak to that just with your background.
So I guess if you guys were doing a 2019 drink, my gin and tonic is definitely 1868 or something. I don't know.
Does not go out of style. Classic.
She was on the Mayflower.
Oh yeah, I was rowing then. I was gonna go. Did we bring the limes? That's all I'm concerned about. Did we bring the limes? Anyway, yeah. No, I'm a gin and tonic girl in the summer. I do Fever Tree lighter tonic. I don't know, makes me feel kind of, sort of holier than thou. But anyway, it's the only time I drink them is in the summer. So I'm not changing.
Yeah. That's fair.
I guess I'm stuck in 2019 because I haven't seen people in 2 years and she's getting old. Yeah, I think, you know what, you're right. There are some fruity seltzers that are coming out on the market. I know we had a differing opinion, Dan, about what we love and what we don't like in seltzers, but I do like a really fruity seltzer. I don't like a tonic water. I think it's bitter. So unless it's with a club soda, a little bit of sugar, it's just not for me.
Okay. Well noted. I think this first conversation has been a ton of fun, lots of laughs, and that's why I'm excited to have our first guest on. Caroline Stokes is a comedian based in Edmonton, and we, typically Marilyn's funny enough, but I thought the past few weeks we could maybe step up her game a bit, so that's why we're going to have her on the show to give us some tips and inspire us to be a bit more funny around the dinner table. But first, we're going to watch a compilation of some of her funny videos. She posts a ton of hilarious stuff on Instagram and TikTok, so we'll watch that and then chat with Caroline.
I'll never slouch. Came into
Okay, there's a lot of stuff happening in those 30 seconds, so I know it's hard to explain each and every one of them, but Caroline, thank you for joining us first and foremost. It's great to see you virtually.
Thank you. Great to see you too.
One thing that I love about your comedy is that I don't know what the proper word for this is, but you use your body a lot in your comedy, so that is definitely a different approach than just telling a straight up joke. So how did you come to love that form of comedy?
It's really quite natural. It's one of my favorite ways of expressing myself. I have said many times that if I could choose a way to express myself, if I had to choose one way, it would be through movement. If I suddenly lost my speech, if I suddenly became Ariel in The Little Mermaid, I would flap my fins.
You'd be like the life of the party, I think, even without the voice.
I have my moments. I have moments where I really want all the eyes on me, and then I'm happy to sit back and watch. So, but yeah, I always love to move in interesting ways. I grew up doing ballet, and I've learned a bit of tap dancing, and I did some musical theater in my 20s, mixed with my love of Jim Carrey, and just connecting with my body. I feel really connected with my body. I feel like it's just very natural to me. And then adding the spin of creating and putting it online has been a new angle to something I've been doing for a long time.
Well, I think it's really, really great. And watching your social following grow, over the months that I have followed you, it's really impressive. So do you think that there is, I don't want to say a niche, but there's a lot of people that make funny videos online, and I feel like you're one of the few that I see that really leans into the approach of using the body in comedy. So when did you sort of start seeing that take off for you on social?
It was a year ago. I'm noticing this interesting correlation with, the weirder I look, or the more out there I act. How I see more success. So, a year ago, I was inspired by a few videos I saw online, and I was imagining myself doing them or attempting them. So, a really great tap dancer or a gymnast, really performing at a skilled level, and then imagining myself doing it. And I was inspired to give it a try, and I thought that there would be a lot of potential for humor, really handing it up. And also, I'm not a professional gymnast or a professional ballerina, but I have enough knowledge about movement and dance that I could kind of
understand the fundamentals for sure.
But so yeah, I just, really the more I started to flail and fail and really go for it, that's when I was seeing a lot of success happening.
I love that.
I think you nailed the nail on the head when you said, the more I tried it, like when you actually throw yourself and you commit yourself as a comedian, I think that's the authenticity that people really want to see. So you said Jim Carrey obviously has inspired you. He's a very physical actor, but are there any other comedians from days gone by that you've actually been inspired by?
Jim Carrey is really one of my first loves. Martin Short as well. Yeah, those two. Over the last year, I've been watching a lot of Carol Burnett and her live shows and her use of costuming and her variety, her style of putting together a variety show and working with guests and her material being really uplifting and interesting. I've really loved incorporating, not only putting together something that's funny, but I like it to look a certain way as well. I really love color and the artistic element to it as well. So yes, really studying her work as well has been inspiring for me. I was going to write her a letter. Apparently
Aww.
You can. My mom looked up her address online. I was going to write her a letter.
I think you should. There's all these things like, I wish I'd done that. Just do it. I think that's really cool. And if she doesn't answer, it's okay. At least you threw it to the universe.
Exactly.
I just want to interject here that once I once wrote a letter to Freddie Prinze Jr. and he did not write back. So
there's always time.
Right.
And Dan is a shattered man as a result.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
It shows.
Tough times.
Okay, when I first saw your videos, I went, who is this person? Like, do you look at yourself and you go, what if, a year ago you went like, I don't know. And now you're going, what the hell? Like, are you even going like, what the hell?
Yeah, there are days when I think, what have I done? I have so much material out in the world. What have I done? And I'm very proud of all the work that I've put out, and it's been a really great focus for me during this last year, and I've really changed my life a lot during the pandemic in a really positive way. So no, I'm really proud of everything that I put out. But there were a few moments. I'm very proud that I've had a few viral videos. I think viral technically now is like 15 million views. It's something outrageous, but I have at least 5 videos that have millions of views, which is really cool.
Wow.
And I had this feeling of, it's like I've never surfed, but probably a surfer would feel like you're just on a wave and you're going with it and there's nothing you can do. There's no stopping it now. And I've had moments where I think, wow, it's kind of out of my control. But
Wow. Cool.
I'm proud, and I
Absolutely.
only want to put out work that I feel excited about and proud of.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's an interesting question you bring up. And something that was on my mind hearing you talk is when you put these together, are you creating something that you want to see, that you want to do? Or are you kind of listening to the direction of like your audience and your followers to kind of create what you think they want? And does that always work? Are you creating things that you're so proud of that fail, and then things that you're not proud of that are viral? How does that feel?
That's a really good question, and something that I'm constantly checking in with myself about. I certainly pay attention to TikTok and listen to the music that is trending, or seeing what kind of dances people are doing. And so I'm always I'm aware of what's going on that's trending, because that's something people would recognize. And so I've gone into a project because it's something trendy, and for those videos, I like to give a different spin on it. So do some sort of parody of it, or an attempt, or just give it a different kind of flair. And there's a lot of things that I don't end up posting because it feels like I'm doing it because it's trendy. So that's something that I'm always checking in with myself about. Like, why am I doing this? And I want to. I have so many different things that I've put on the internet. I have several different characters. I have me dancing as myself. I have my art, and so I have a lot of different things. So I want to keep these things going, because there's certain people that say, well, where is Wendy with the smile? We haven't seen her in a while. So I think, well, maybe I should do Wendy with a smile. And yeah. And it's interesting, the videos that I think are going to do really well, they may not. And sometimes when I least expect it, something really blows up. But it's also just so dependent on the Instagram algorithm and what just happens to get picked up by so many people. And then that's that tricky thing with social media, where if it doesn't do well, you think, oh, it was a crappy video, or it wasn't my best. But it could have been a perfectly great video. It just didn't get swept up for some reason.
Right.
That's why it's sad.
And we can't control those kind of algorithms. So, I mean, you just got to create what you love and be proud. Question, another question I have for you, because we do have a really great platform where we are able to talk to so many people. Obviously, you've read probably the majority of your comments, many, many positive comments, but there's always those trolls that are coming in to try to break you down. And I think on a vast scale, there's a lot of people, youth on social media and platforms, that are trying to just make a name or be creative, getting these comments that are bringing people down. So what do you say to people that feel like they've got brought down from comments? Because I'm sure you've kind of saw ones that kind of hurt a little bit or stung a little.
Definitely. I'm lucky to receive a large majority of positive commentary and positive DMs, and that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from, as well as people sending me funny videos and sending me photos of them dressed up in costume or whatever it is. But I do get messages, and I have received enough comments that have really stopped me from creating for a certain, a few days, or, definitely things that have thrown me off. I really believe that, the people that love your work will find you. And that's certainly something that happens. And trusting that not everyone is going to like what you do.
We like what you do.
Thank you.
So forget about those people. I know they sting a lot, but you go, you do
Thank
that.
you.
I'm going to start doing that, and then I'll get no followers, but I'll still be you, girl. So yes, I appreciate what you do.
I feel
Thank
like
you.
that last little bit taught me a lot about how I should be commenting on Ryan's posts. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, right. Say something nice. That would really make me feel nice. Yeah.
Well, last thing I want to ask you, Caroline. Obviously, you find a lot of joy in making people laugh. So when we are allowed to sit at a dinner table again with our friends inside of our houses, do you have any tips for how to be funny at dinner? Because I'm not gonna lie, I try my best and it doesn't work out most of the time. So maybe I'm trying too hard. I know we don't have time for all of this to really
Never
dissect all the
try.
problems I have in my life, but just any tips would be great.
Oh, being funny at dinner. Well, that's a very good question. For you specifically, what could you do? What's my approach? I'm a pretty quiet dinner eater. I'm often sitting across when we're at my parents' place for dinner. When we can do that again, I'm often right across from my 8-year-old niece. So she is a great audience. So, oh man, you really stumped me. I think let the love of food move you. I don't know. You stumped me there. Be yourself. Enjoy the food. Let people see your good side.
Yeah, there we go.
There you
I love that.
Dan's good side.
Yes.
Okay.
Shameless plug for Dan
Yes.
Clapson. I also think just look at someone across the table like this, and then just like turn back normal. That's always a crowd pleaser.
I find farting is a very big
Okay. Enough.
laugh at the table.
Enough.
Yeah. Okay. Never
Okay.
mind. Okay. Here we go.
Last question. I know since you're based in Edmonton, so many amazing restaurants there. When things are normal again and you can pop into a restaurant and sit down again with a friend or family members, what restaurant are you heading to?
There's two that comes to mind, and I'm hoping two that come to mind. Yanni's.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be surrounded with my friends and share a whole bunch of appetizers. And the next extraordinaire is something that I think about every week. So I look forward to doing that.
Two great choices. Caroline, thank you so much for joining us. It was really great to chat with you. And again, loving your approach to comedy online and everything you do. You're so creative and it's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. That was so much fun.
Yep.
I'm
You know,
adopted.
the first time I saw her videos, I go, who in the hell is this crazy person? And I loved it because then, I saw all the different characters. I saw the acting and that really is what attracted me to her, her stuff. So, yeah.
I think Ryan, go ahead.
I was going to ask if she throws her back out ever, physical comedy, you just go for it. All of a sudden, I'm old, so my neck will go out at like looking left or right at any given time. So
I think Mairlyn, I might send her your recent Home Depot look for inspiration too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, good. No, that's a good one. Thanks, Clapson. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Me so jabby today, in like a loving way, obviously. But anyway, Ryan brings it out of me.
It cuts deep. It cuts deep.
Exactly.
Me and Mairlyn have a meeting after this to talk about.
I'm also really excited for our next guest, Justin Fancy, a very talented country musician based in St. John's, Newfoundland. Before we chat with him, we're going to hear an amazing performance from his full band of his current single, Makes Me Wanna.
Yes.
Down on the back porch thinking I ain't never gonna live like this. Getting over this empty feeling as I'm trying to ride ahead. My friends, they say that I'll never get over you if all I'm doing is thinking about you. The way that she walks, the way that she moves, every single thing you do that makes me love you. There's the way that she talks, little something that you do makes me wanna love you, makes me wanna love you, makes me wanna love you. I think about Friday nights when it was only you and me. We'd sit and stare for hours, you lying next to me. My friends, they say that I'll never get over you if all I'm doing is thinking about you. The way that you walk, the way that you move, every single thing you do that makes me love you. There's the way that you talk, little something that you do that I'll never get over you if all I'm doing is thinking about you. The way that you walk, the way that you move, every single thing you do that makes me love you. There's the way that she talks, little something that you do makes me wanna love you, makes me wanna love you, makes me wanna love you. Yeah, there's a way that she talks, little something that you do makes me wanna love you, 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 makes me wanna love you.
Amazing job. Justin, I just want to point out, I appreciate you bringing the full band for us. We're truly honored.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. We actually did it a couple weeks ago. Our buddy Alan Doyle, big name, and he had a place down at Mallard Cottage. It was actually the inn at Mallard Cottage down in Kitty Vitty. We call it the Gut here in Newfoundland. But down in Kitty Vitty, he had this little place, and it was it's a little Airbnb place, and he pretty much transformed it into a little studio. So I was looking for a place to record a video, and his audio engineer Peter Green is a very good friend of mine, and he I had posted something on Facebook to look for a cool place to record a video, and he came back. He said, "I'm sure Alan won't mind." I was like, "Alan Doyle?" I was like, "I don't know. Can we ask Alan about this?" And I kind of got pretty nervous about it, and he got back to me 5 minutes later. Yeah, Alan's cool with it. So I was like, "Oh my God, okay." So we ended up going down, and the place was absolutely perfect. And he had all his gear set up. I mean, he's got pretty much a mobile kit that he brings around with him wherever he goes, and he set it up, and it was just a great experience all around. And only happy to do it for you, Dan.
Well, we appreciate that. The last time we chatted with you, gosh, it's probably been a while. I think it closer to a year, maybe almost. But you had just released your album, Sure Beats a Good Time. So I think you've had a lot of success since then. Your songs are quite popular on streaming services, and your new single Makes Me Wanna is doing quite well too. So how has it been? I mean, releasing that album during the pandemic earlier on is one thing, but now that you're really chugging along and really getting traction, how's it feeling?
It's been really great, and I think one of the things that I've focused on a lot over the last few months is building relationships with the industry and the radio people, the people that are actually considering this song to be played on the radio. And I had a dream. A lot of musicians have different dreams, but mine was I wanted my songs played on the radio. I wanted to write to be a commercial radio kind of guy, known for a guy that's going to have a song on the radio. A lot of singer-songwriters don't ever make it to the radio, and they strive off of things like live performances and performances around their cities and whatever else, and doing tours. For me, it was all about radio for me. I did a lot of research before I recorded this album, and I really wanted to track the modern commercial country sound, and I think we've done that quite well. And I have to give credit to my producer, Clint Curtis, and he's out of Springdale, Newfoundland. And he's producing, in my opinion, he's producing some of the best stuff across this country right now. And it's just amazing that I had the opportunity to meet him and work with him. We're actually working on another couple tunes now. And I'm so excited for that. I think, keeping the creative mind while we're in this pandemic and everything else is really key. I need to keep writing. I need to keep getting ahead of this whole thing. And a couple of awards there with Music NL and an ECMA nomination. We won an award for Best Country Video, Canadian Independent Music Awards. So I mean, just to get that recognition is unbelievable. For me. It's an unbelievable feeling. I remember doing Canadian Idol back in 2008, and I thought I was the walk of the walk when I got back in Newfoundland. I was 21 years old and I was living high. I made it the top 50 in the country, and I was so proud of that, but I was very immature. And very young, and just, you know, I didn't really know what direction I was going in, and I spent a lot of time, you know, in studios and recording things that, you know, I wasn't really mature enough to present it to radio. I wasn't really confident enough to present it to radio. So, you know, fast forward 10 years, 12 years, I'm playing on George Street 7 days a week for a lot of that time. And, you know, I just grew as an artist, and I did a lot of research before I actually made the big bang this time. I call it the big bang because it was a change. A lot of people don't, decipher the actual live entertainment, you know, playing in cover bands and actually being a recording artist is a whole different game altogether. And you know, as I said before, the biggest thing for me right now is concentrating on building relationships with the people that are, you know, choosing these songs, and you know, I'm really hoping that I just improve and get better as the days go by, and I'm you know, extremely appreciative of guys like you that are able to interview me on a night like tonight, and it's just a pleasure. You know, I didn't ever dream that I would be right across the country from St. John's right on to BC on radio stations across the country, and it's happening now, and
it's a great
I'm
feeling.
just so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Okay, Justin, I've been to the Mallard Cottage and I had a fucking amazing dinner. But I got to tell you, my husband and I, we've been to most provinces in Canada. Newfoundlanders are so friendly. What the hell? Like, I mean, Manitoba's right up there too, but oh my God, what are you guys? Are you drinking something nobody else is? Like, what's the secret?
Oh, it's definitely great drinks here. I won't. And you know what? I'll bring this up. A couple of days ago, actually, our country station here in St. John's just changed from Kicks Country to New Country to amalgamate with the Stingray radio stations. So I got a buddy in Moncton that Shiloh Bellis is his name, and what a great guy. And he's a music director in Moncton, and he actually had to take over the air for a couple of days. And I mentioned to him I wanted to screech him in before he got on air. We didn't end up doing it. I think we're gonna do it. I think there's gonna come a day where I'm gonna have to screech this guy in because he gets on the air the first day, and there's a place it's about 45 minutes from here, and it's called Whitburn. That's the name of the place. And he actually got on the air and he pronounced it Whitborn. So anyway, long story short, we'll get back to the screech in a minute. But long story short, so I voice memoed him. I was on the way to the golf course from work, and I voice memoed him, and I just told him, I said, "Hey, buddy, just wanted to let you know it's Whitburn, not Whitborn." And what does the bugger do? Put it on air the next day. So he's texting me and calling me and everything, you know, the day before, and he said, "Man, I really, really appreciate it." So I get it. I'm on the way to work the next morning, and I'm hearing it, and he's got my voice memo on air. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, we want to, the drink thing kind of triggered me because I want to get some screech up to him and kind of screech him in on air because he's filling in for a guy that's been off work for a while actually, and here in Newfoundland. So I'm hoping to get that. But back to the nice thing. I don't know. It's just instilled in our culture. We're just nice people. And historically, you know, the music industry is a pretty hard racket, we'll call it, you know, to be in, and it's a very honest, and it can be deteriorating at times. I mean, and you know, a natural Newfoundlander's reaction is kind of like, well, why is he being like that? Why is she being like that? Or why are they having different opinions about my music or whatever else? But I mean, I just take all that in stride, and it just gives me motivation to keep going and get better, you know?
You know, you are incredibly talented, and I agree with Mairlyn. I mean, being from the Maritimes, your relationships you're going to make with people are going to get you a lot of places. Where do you see you going? What is, like, obviously this has been a lifelong dream to do what you're doing. Where do you see yourself going, and what is, like, one dream that you know you'll accomplish? I think you'll accomplish great things, but what's the next step? Where's one dream? Because I want to take this moment, landmark it, and then when you do it, I want to call you and say, Justin, fancy, you did it.
Absolutely. So my original dream was to put a song on the radio and get it heard right across that. And I think, you know, there's something to be said about that. In my heart, I feel like I knew it was always going to happen. I just needed to present myself in a way that I could get those songs on the radio. And again, going back to my producer, Clint Curtis, 7 View Studios, just an amazing guy. He believed in my music, and he took it to a different level. He took my words, my lyrics, my ideas, my compositions to another level. And now that I'm at that level, I just think the sky's the limit now. I'm really confident. I'm really motivated that, I'm writing a lot of new material, and I'm really happy with what's going on right now. I'm not going to stop until I'm just, to the point where I can't go anymore. That's where I want to be. I mean, right now I've got an IT career. I work 5 days a week. I have a young daughter. She's 8 years old, that absolutely loves my music. She knows every word to every song. She wants me to sing it to her all the time. She wants to put it on in the car. Just amazing. And just to see her reaction to what I'm doing, I mean, it just motivates me even more. And again, sky's the limit. I want to be the Dallas Smiths. I want to be, I want to be the Brett Kissels. I want to be these guys that are getting on the stage with confidence, and having a crowd of, 200, 300,000 people singing back the song that you wrote. I mean, that's a lifelong dream. And it always will be. And with the right guidance and with the right motivation, I truly believe I can get there. And I hope one day it happens for sure.
That's amazing. Well, I've already added you to my playlist beside all those people. So
awesome, buddy.
You're there. So awesome.
Awesome.
Sidebar, Dallas is my cousin, and I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Great guy.
Anyway.
I met him. He was here for Iceberg Alley, and a friend of mine opened up for him and actually sang a couple songs. Caroline East. I'm not sure if she's been on the show before.
Not yet, but yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she opened up for him and got up and sang a tune with him, and I kind of just brushed by him and said, "How are you?" Whatever. He probably will never remember me, but yeah, I mean, I mentioned these big names because I follow the industry a lot, and I just, for me, I have a very keen interest of being recognized the right way. I don't want to do it the wrong way. I don't want to put a song out and flip out at a radio guy because he doesn't like my song. I mean, that's not what it is for me. I mean, I see a lot of independent artists. I see a lot of artists that are kind of over the top with their music, and they believe they're just going to be the next Dallas Smith overnight, but it ain't going to happen. I mean, you need to put work. It takes effort. I actually talked to someone today at work, and they were wondering, how much effort does it take for me to get on a radio station or promote my brand? I mean, my social media is all over the place all the time. That's me. I'm doing that. I'm putting the effort in there to get my name out there in the brand and whatever else. The biggest thing for me is, I told them this: when you see an artist win a Juno or a CCMA or a CMA or whatever it may be, whatever award, and you get up on that stage and they start crying and they get emotional and they say, I've worked so hard for this. And they truly mean that. There is a significant amount of work that goes into, being at the top of country music in Canada. And there's something to be said. I've appreciated it more because I've been through it in the last couple of years. When a Luke Combs gets up and he's after winning, 10 CMA awards, and he gets up and every single time he has a tear in his eye. And he appreciates every single one of those awards because there's an insurmountable amount of work that goes into that. And I have so much more appreciation for that now. And I think, next time anybody watches an award of that stature, it's not only going in and recording a song. The song is the first step. And then you got to get it out there, and then you need a team around you to do what you're doing. And it's just, I have so much appreciation for that these days.
Justin, last thing before we let you go, I can't let you leave without talking Newfoundland food really quickly.
Yeah.
No surprise, I consider myself a bit of Canadian food expert. So, I know Jig's dinner. I know salt beef, salt cod, obviously, the chips with dressing. But one thing I discovered recently, by way of pronouncing it completely incorrectly, is I have this new Newfoundland focused cookbook, and there was this dish where it's a sort of like a griddled biscuit, and I was asking my friend from Newfoundland about it, and I was like, have you ever heard of touton? And she's like, what, Touton? And I was like, Touton, you know, it's like this biscuit they fry in pans over molasses. And she's like, do you mean, I'm not even going to say it right, Teutons? See? I can't even say it right. It's so embarrassing. Like, what is it?
I'll tell you, Towton.
Towton. Yeah. And her jaw dropped to the floor that I was pronouncing it like some bougie French food loving food writer. It's like, of course you would say it like that.
Instagram from when I was in Newfoundland for a tauntaun. Oh, they were so freaking good. Yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend actually makes the best Toutons. She gets fresh dough and makes her own Toutons. It's actually incredible.
Okay.
I like Toutons with. I don't usually put molasses on them. I usually put Aunt Jemima syrup on them.
Oh yeah.
And I have bacon with it traditionally, and I just kind of put all the Aunt Jemima syrup on it. I don't know. Do you guys have Aunt Jemima on the mainland?
Well, they recently rebranded to a new name and whatnot, but yeah, you can find the new syrup here. I think the Red Mill is maybe what they switched the name to, but yeah, but we do find.
But it's fake maple syrup, and in BC, that's what we had too. And when I moved to Ontario, it was like, what? Like, no,
it's just
use real maple
It's just
syrup.
sugar, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, when we take the show on the road, we will come visit you, and we will have those Teutons. I will say it right one day. Until then, I think we say goodbye for now. Justin, it was great hearing the music and always chatting with you. Always fun.
Absolute pleasure, guys. Thanks very much for having me, Dan,
Thanks,
and
Justin.
appreciate everything, guys. Thanks.
Thanks so much. And thank you to my lovely co-hosts tonight, Ryan Massel and Marcel, pardon me. And I'm getting all the names wrong now. Mairlyn Smith. We'll be back here next Thursday night, 7 p.m. It'll be a ton of fun. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Eat North Variety Pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.